Did you know that Sony are greedy? I didn't know this before. I thought that Sony, a billion-dollar company, had my best wishes in mind. Okay, I couldn't even believe when I saw the PS5 Pro price and the price of the stand and the disk drive, which is separate for some reason. I don't know why it's separate, but I couldn't believe it. That's upwards of $1,000. How could they do this? How could Sony, a company that's always been so generous to us poor people, us brokies, how could they do something like this? How could they price their newest console at $700? That's insane. Like how could they do this? Well, you see, I know how, because Sony are greedy. That's just how it is, you know? They're a billion-dollar corporation. They're greedy. But I think this has been a new revelation for a lot of people out there, because I don't know if you've noticed lately, or in the past couple of years, or maybe past 10 years at this point since the PS4 released, but people online have really sucked Sony's dick to a crazy degree. Like, Sony's dick has been sucked so much that it's probably like just crippled. It doesn't even exist anymore. They sucked the dick dry. All right, the foreskin is gone. It is crazy. No other company, maybe aside from like Nintendo, has gotten their dick sucked as much as Sony has. It's because they're the top dogs. You know, they're at the top of the league. They got no competition right now. I don't count Nintendo's competition because Nintendo's their own league. They're in their own league. They're not part of the console wars. Never have been. They're in their own little space. At least not since the 90s with Sega. They haven't been in the console wars. All right, they're just in a different area. And Xbox, let's not even talk about them. All right, I play Xbox. I've always played Xbox. I have an Xbox right now, and Xbox is just, they're on a downward spiral. I'm gonna make a separate video about Xbox's decline and how bad they are right now, like what place they're in, because they're below, they're in the pits. It's terrible. But I don't want to talk too much about that because, again, I'm gonna make a separate video about that, and because it's his own topic. But it's just worth mentioning because Xbox's like non-existence in the gaming sphere right now has basically made Sony the top dog. Like, they're the top of the fucking chain, all right? And they have been for a long time. And that's bad, all right? Because not only at the top of the chain with the most sales of their consoles and whatever and games, they also have the most corporate shills. I have not seen, yes, I've seen a lot of criticism, and I'm not the first person, okay, to come out and make fun of the PS5 Pro's price and stuff like that. There's many articles and videos and tweets and memes about how expensive it is and how egregious it is and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that's right. But there's also a lot of people still shilling for the console and shilling for the price tag and thinking that, oh, the Sony price on the console this way is perfectly fine, because like they like they're just, you can't even hear them. Their mouth is so full of cock, you can barely hear them speak. You're just hearing gibberish. That's all you can hear, all right? It's crazy. And it's always been like that. Like, Sony will put out anything, and people will just praise it like it's some fucking Michelangelo painting or something, some ancient, like, Roman dial or something. I don't know. It's a butter churn that they just dug up. It's some shit they dug up from a long time ago, and it's something that we should just like cherish as like this is a perfect piece of art, when it's not. I apologize for saying a lot. It's just my way of speaking. But I want to make an example real quick and say that like Ghost of Tsushima and God of War and these other games that Sony put out, they're just not good. I don't know what you want me to say. Ghost of Tsushima is basically a Ubisoft game. It's basically an Assassin's Creed game. All right, has the same gameplay as one of the newer Assassin's Creed games, like the Viking one or the one set in Egypt or whatever. But because it's Sony, it got all this praise and, oh my god, deserved Game of the Year, deserved all this stuff, blah 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 blah. Like, that's how much people suck Sony's dick, is that they can put out a Ubisoft game, and for some reason it gets praised. Meanwhile, Ubisoft puts out the same game every year that's basically the same thing as what Sony put out, right? That's the formula they took, and they're shit on. These same people. oh, and the new Assassin's Creed is terrible, blah blah blah. Oh, but Ghost of Tsushima is awesome. Yeah, it's great, because Sony did it. Blah, blah, blah. It's insane. It's crazy. It did this shill for everything. This console, these games, I just don't understand it. They win all the awards every year at the Game Awards. No matter what piece of shit they put out, they win all these awards. You know, I'm impressed by Astrobot, honestly, because Astrobot is different looking. It's like a game. It's like a real game that has game things in it. Like you move it and you play it and it looks fun. Isn't that crazy? Most Sony games aren't really games. They're like movies, pretty much. They shouldn't even be considered games. Like The Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2 and that kind of shit and God of War. Like those aren't games. They're just basically just movies, and you occasionally press a button or two. They're on the same level as like a Telltale game or shit like that, or Until Dawn. You know, they barely count as fucking games. Why are they getting game nods? And speaking of Game Awards, the biggest Sony shill of all time has to be Geoff motherfucking Keighley. I hate Geoff Keighley. He is a fucking corporate shill. He has no love for video games. He's just another suit. All right, that's all he is. I'm not even sure he even likes video games. All he does is tweet about how much he loves Sony. All right, he got in a fight with the gaming magazine Hard Drive, and Hard Drive is basically like The Onion but for games. They make satirical articles on gamers and games and stuff like that. And he got in a fight on Twitter a couple days ago with that magazine, with Hard Drive, because he just kept tweeting. He tweeted I'm not even kidding you, it had to be at least 50 times on the same day, September 10th, when they announced the PS5 Pro and its price tag. And then people were going after him for maybe it's kind of a bad price. Maybe it should be priced $700, whatever. And he was clapping back, being like, well, adjusted for inflation, the PS3 and the PS whatever was this price and blah, blah, blah. And it just basically just defending them with his life, which makes sense because he always just accepts their money. I mean, I'm not sure. This is alleged because I don't want to get in legal trouble. I don't know if Sony pays Geoff Keighley. I really doubt they do. Because why the fuck does Sony need to pay Geoff Keighley to promote their shit? Because they're top dogs. They got all these sales and shit. They're a billion-dollar company. Why would they pay Geoff Keighley of all people to do this? But it is weird that how many awards they win, how much praise they get every year at Gamescom or the Game Awards or Summer Games, whatever Geoff Keighley runs now in lieu of E3. And I think it's less about Sony paying him and more about him just absolutely shilling for them for no reason. And I'm not saying that Xbox deserves love, because they don't. They fucked up a lot. And again, I'll talk about that another time. But it's crazy how much he shafts Xbox every year, and Nintendo, by the way, to just suck Sony's dick. It's insane. Geoff Keighley's a corporate hack. I hate him. Every time he pops up on the screen, he pisses me off. And the funniest part is, at the Game Awards or Summer Games, he comes up on stage and he's always like, here's the newest game. This game blew my mind. I can't believe how great this game was. This game was great. This game is going to literally change the game. It's going to change gaming forever. And he shows some shit that's just looks like ass. I'm not 100% sure because I'm getting this off the cuff. I'm 90% sure that he went up on stage last year or something, or maybe earlier this year, on whatever, the Game Awards or Summer Game, whatever it was, and probably was showing off Concord. And before it came up on the screen, he probably was like, this is literally the best game I've ever played in my life. Get ready. This is Concord. And then the game crashed and burned in a week, basically. Because he doesn't care. He's just a fucking corporate hack. Oh my god. Geoff Keighley is the king of corporate hype machines. He masquerades as a gaming journalist. Every time he pops up, I hate him, man. He's soulless. He has no soul. He has no fun. His eyes, he's basically a fucking Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic. All right, he's a haunted, possessed doll of a human being. I'm convinced. All right, I don't even know if he enjoys life. He's just basically there to be a gaming shill. That's all he is. He's nothing more. He's barely a human. He's a fucking robot. He's an AI creation. That's what I feel like Geoff Keighley is. All right, he is an AI creation, and as we keep on attacking him, I have, hard drive has, many people have roasted him in the past week, and roasted him a lot, not just the past week, the past couple of years. We probably should stop. I probably should stop talking shit about him because he's so synthetic that he might like uprise against us. He might do an AI uprising. Geoff Keighley might start the AI uprising. It might be like the Terminator. So we probably should chill out, let him be, let him just drink some oil and refresh his brain so he doesn't get angry and blow up the world. All right. Yeah. I don't have much else to say. I just wanted to pop on here and just say a couple things about about Sony, and I'm just sick of them, man. I'm really sick of Sony. I'm really hoping that the death of Concord and the PS5 Pro shit, I hope this all backfires on them in the long run, because they need to be humbled. They're too confident, unfortunately, and they can't. They can't be humbled because, again, there's no competition. Like they don't have anything. They're running in a unopposed, pretty much. There's no one against them, so they can do whatever the fuck they want, and people will just do it, and people will buy it too, so it doesn't matter. Like, people are all complaining right now about the PS5 Pro, but everyone's gonna fucking buy it. All these Sony ponies are gonna get up at fucking 8 in the morning in November in the cold chill and go out to GameStop or whatever, Walmart, and just spend their hard-earned cash on the PS5 Pro so they can get like better graphics, barely better graphics. Like, again, the pictures they showed and the before and after photos of the PS5 Pro look like ass. Like, they're terrible photos. Like, it's barely any difference at all. And the gameplay, the whole point of playing games is to play games, by the way. Like, I know most Sony games are basically like movies. They're not really games. You don't really play them. But when I play video games, I want to play a fucking video game. I don't want to watch a fucking movie. I want to play a video game, all right? And the PS5 Pro doesn't even do that right. Like, most games are still in 30 FPS. 30 FPS. Games should not be in 30 FPS on console in 2024. That is ridiculous. All right. This goes for Xbox as well. Why the fuck are games still in 30 FPS? I don't care if it like hinders development or whatever the fuck. It doesn't make any sense to me. 60 FPS should be the standard. It should be more than that by now, obviously. But like, anyone who makes a game in 30 FPS, like, if I hear that shit, automatically I'm turning the game off. Like, there's a couple of games I got excited for, like, oh my god, this game's gonna be really great. And then I hear 30 FPS, I'm like, never mind, I'm not gonna buy that game. Because why would I? It's ridiculous. Alright? I tried playing old games, and yeah, some old games are really good still. But the difference is night and day, man. It really is. 60 FPS is the future, and it should be that way. Or was the future, actually. 60 FPS was the future 10 years ago. Now it's more than that. But at least games nowadays should standardly run at 60 FPS. Any game. They shouldn't be running at 30 still. That's fucking stupid, alright? But yeah, you're going to spend $700 on the PS5 Pro, and it's going to play games the same way as the PS5 does. What's the point? It's useless. It's basically a giant fucking paperweight. You might as well just toss the $700 in the fucking sun. Alright? We should spend some $700 to buy a new fucking brain because you're so stupid. Anyone that buys that console, I don't even know, man. If you're listening to this video right now and you plan on buying that console, please comment, email me maybe, and you can hate me. I don't delete comments, bring it on. Bring it on. I'm not scared of anybody. I'm not scared of Sony ponies. I'm not scared. If you like this console and you don't like my opinions, please go after me and say some hateful shit to me. I don't give a shit. Alright? But I do want to know why you want to buy it. Because to me, it just seems useless. Alright? It doesn't play games better than the original PS5. And the graphics are barely better. It just feels like a giant waste of money. And yeah. That's basically my opinion. That's my rant tonight. I'm going to move on to something else right now. I might go to bed, actually, because I'm ranting. It's like 2 in the morning. Neighbors might call the cops. We'll see. Anyways, take care. Have a good night, and hope to see you again. See ya.